This is Game Chat with Bwana, your source for gaming news and reviews. Here's your host, Bwana McCall.
Hello everybody, today is April 4, 2011. Welcome to Game Chat with Bwana, episode 15. Tonight is Monday, April 4th, like I just said, 2011, some people say. Episode 15 coming at you guys. We got 14 under our belt, and we're going to continue to move forward. Episode 15, this is Game Chat with Bwana, where we discuss the latest gaming news, the past news for the past week. We stick to that 7-day rule. We try not to go over 7 days of news and stuffs and happenings and whatnot. So we try to keep it fairly up to date. So we won't be telling you about stories that happened 2 months ago. You'll be like, hey, duh, Bwana. You talked about that last March. If I wanted to listen to old news, I'd go listen to the old show. And then I punch you in the face for being disrespectful. Anyway, Game Chat with Bwana, episode 15 coming at you guys. We're going to try to keep it a little bit shorter tonight. I realize my stories have been going a little bit long. I think a lot of you have been contacting me and say, Bwana, your game chats are too long. I only have 2 minutes a day. I can't listen. I can't sit down that long and listen. I know some of you play it in the background. You download the MP3. We do have an MP3 feed. You download the MP3, and you just listen to it in the background while you do other things. That's kind of what it's designed for. I got a podcasting background, kind of like an online radio show type thing. So I designed these shows to where you can like listen, but not necessarily have to pay attention the entire time, and get your gaming news. So we're going to go ahead and get started right about now. And before we talk about our first story, I want to let everybody know that I am a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech is here, go to techpodcast.com for basically a bunch of shows kind of like mine. We talk about gaming, we talk about tech, all kinds of stuff. Bunch of shows over there. That's where I got started. That's the group that pretty much taught me the ropes. Learned from a bunch of different people over there, big time podcasters over there on techpodcast.com. Go check them out. So, without further ado, let's talk about the biggest story of today. The biggest story of the day. And it has to do with Sony. And I told you guys last time I don't really like talking about it, but I can't help it. I mean, it's big. I have to talk about it. I was debating. I was like, should I even mention this? Because I just don't want to give them the publicity, but it's a big story. So apparently the hackers over on I don't know if they're completely affiliated with 4chan, but they go by the alias Anonymous, and apparently they're anonymous. So they have declared war on Sony. Now that pretty much that message came out a couple of days ago. I think it was yesterday or the day before. Might have been before April 1st. I'm not sure, but they threatened that they were going to take action. And today, Sony's websites were brought down for, I don't know, an undisclosed amount of time, and it's been kind of like sporadic network behavior for most of the day. I didn't notice it personally. I went on my PS3 today. I patched. I did some things, downloaded a couple demos, and it didn't seem slower than normal. But some people were reporting slowdowns, that the website was down. I think Sony.com was down, PlayStation.com was down. I was watching people on JTV. They were trying to access certain games through PSN, and the connection would falter. The connection would just go down. So I think it's affecting some of Sony's network infrastructure. So this is kind of their way of getting back at Sony for, and I think the way they worded it is that they believe that Sony was going against individuals' privacy rights by the way they're doing their court practices, by getting records, getting IP addresses, and things like that. And you guys know how I feel about this. I have a rule. You guys know me. Two wrongs don't make a right. So I can't really justify their actions of what they're doing. And in the end, because two wrongs are going at it, we're suffering. The community's suffering. Everybody who has PS3s trying to play the game and can't is suffering because of this. So, that's the bottom line. And that's what I want to focus on, is that, throughout all of this, we're going to be the ones who pay. And I liken it, and I like to compare it to digital music, because I was there at the birth of the explosion of digital music. And people were just downloading thousands and thousands of songs on Napster, songs they weren't planning on buying, certain songs they weren't going to buy, and without consequence. And then the music, the RIAA came out of this like sleeping giant state and just started wreaking havoc, and they're still wreaking havoc today. So I didn't agree with it back then. I don't agree with it now, downloading music without paying for it. And it's just a result. These big companies, they're going to come back and do things that we're not going to like, especially if we go about it the wrong way. So it's just, if you go about things the right way, 9 times out of 10 you're okay with a lot of these services. But today, this is what I'm talking about. You got paying customers, legitimate customers who are paying Sony for their service, who are agreeing to the wow, Homefront patch. I just got a little bit distracted there. BRB gonna play Homefront. Forget the podcast. I'm joking. Anyway, I'm just gonna say the bottom line is that we're gonna suffer. So hopefully, this will all settle down and we won't be pushed into a corner again. We won't be in a position where, we were when DRM first came out. Because when DRM first hit, I was like, oh, I knew it. It's like you download a billion songs. They got to do something. And the birth of DRM was here, and then DMCA Act, and all these different things that we hate and loathe today. And I even wrote a blog post. I was like, man, a lot of you guys brought this on yourselves. You just don't know when to stop. There's like no self-control. So this is all entertainment in the end. So we just have to put things in perspective, guys. We play games to have fun, right? Right. We play games as just things to do in our free time. Some people make their living off of the gaming industry. I doubt anyone who's watching this show does, unless you're like working for GameStop or something like that. Unless you guys are rich. Hi, rich people. How's it going? Anyway, check it out. This is over on PlayStationLifestyle.net. They've been updating the article, and if you scroll down the article, you'll see things. Anonymous has released a video talking about there's going to be more attacks to come, and this is just the beginning, Sony, blah 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 blah. So lots of drama over there. PlayStationLifestyle.net has the details over there. So we're going to go to the next story, which is kind of related, but we kind of haven't been talking about the Xbox 360 in terms of hacks. When the Xbox 360 JTAGs, the hacks that we call them, the JTAG hacks, first came out, it was kind of a big story, but now it's like passe. Okay, you got a JTAG, you're going to be banned in less than a day. That's kind of the idea. He's like, you can't keep a JTAG Xbox 360 online for that long of a time, because Microsoft cracks down on them so hard now. So when I saw this article, I was wondering if it was related to that, and it turns out it's not. This Xbox Live hacker, who goes by the name of Predator, is basically warning Microsoft, saying, hey, Microsoft, you know that all Xbox 360 accounts are open to attacks? And he goes on to say that he actually proved via a video, a 6-minute video, that he used social engineering techniques and didn't employ any programs, basically to fish and to grab certain tidbits of information to hijack Xbox Live policy enforcement lead Stephen Toulouse's account. So he went for the big brass and hacked his account using these social engineering techniques. So apparently he went all around about to like the ISP, the web service provider. I think he was just poking at different places, getting information on this guy, getting little tidbits of information, and basically was able to reset his password through social engineering means. And this is common. If any of you who use the internet often, especially if you live stream like me, you know that this is common. You get these guys who come in the chat room, ask you like personal information, like, how old are you, and where you live, where you grew up, all these little tiny personal questions, and, just to fish information here and there. Oh, you got any kids? Just to get little tidbits of information just so that they can use it against you. So you got to be careful about who you give your information to, who you add to your Facebook account, who you add to your Twitter. Got to be careful because people use this information to hack, per se. They're not using programs. I completely agree with this article, what the guy's saying. They don't have to use programs. They can just go and, try to do a reset password at a certain place and, just prod that information and use that personal information they got from you to hack your account. So check this out, guys. This is over on joystick.com. They got the details over there about how this Predator guy apparently is just bold. And I like what he's saying. I don't like the way he's doing things. If you go in here, he says that, he's bragging about how many he's hacked, but the thing I like about it is that he's not doing what GeoHot did. Apparently I haven't gone too deep into it, but he's not releasing how he did it exactly. GeoHot put everything out there. He's like, this is how you hack it. This is how you do this. He went to Microsoft. This is what a lot of white hackers do. They find exploits and then they go to the companies and say, hey, I found this hack. You guys need to fix this. And then when the company ignores them, they go like, all right, if you don't fix it, I'm going to release it in the wild. And then they go, okay, you got 2 days. And then they release it in the wild and then the company scrambles to fix it. That's kind of what you see a lot of times with some of these exploits. But I like the fact that he went to the company about it. That's about the only positive thing I can find out of this is that, he didn't just release this technique to everybody. So check it out, guys. Joystick.com has the details about this Xbox Live hacker, Predator. And the chat room is telling me that he did release a tutorial on how to do it, so now he officially sucks. Joystick.com has the details. So, now we're going to talk about something a little bit shady, a little bit bad. You guys ever heard of Reddit, right? Reddit's a site where you can aggregate news, you can discuss stuff, post links, post images, post videos, post all kinds of things like that. So, apparently, some big-time gaming sites were trying to game Reddit. Meaning that they were trying to use like illegal tactics to get their stories voted up to the first page. And this is something that was run by a user called Master of Hyrule, who made use of multiple accounts to submit, vote, and comment on stories on gaming sites like GamePro, G4 TV, and GamerFeed. Apparently, they were using some high-profile Reddit users to basically post their articles so they can get voted up. And this is let me find the exact quote here. After being called out on the post by Reddit user Demores earlier today, all three have since issued apologies. Blah 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 blah. And CNET has reached out. In a statement, G4 said the company had originally found a Dig Power user who had also had other social networking accounts, including one on Reddit. G4 had traded games, then later money to this individual in return for them to submitting stories on a social news site. So they were giving the guy games, giving him money so that he can post stories about certain topics. So they were gaming the system. And they kind of got caught red-handed. So it's just bad. Nothing positive about this. Nothing. Just don't do it. And the respect meter goes down for all these sites that were caught doing this. And this is why people, I think it was like the early 2000s when this really caught on. They used to plant seeds or plant these moles on forum sites. And what they would do, this was proved, is that certain companies would plant these moles on these big prolific forum sites and basically hype up a game. Just constantly talk about it, bump threads that talked about it, just make people love the game, and probably never played it. But they would just boom, 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 pumping it up, and they were playing it by the companies who actually made the game. And then this was like shut down. But that was a long, long time ago. But apparently it's kind of back in the form of these Dig Reddit sites, getting these power users to pump up these stories. Check it out, guys. CNET.com has a story about it. It's bad. That's the moral of the story out there. It's bad. So now we're going to talk about something else. Something good. All these negative stories. Just so mad. Battlefield 3 released a new gameplay trailer on March 30th. And guys, it was very good. If you haven't seen it yet, go to this site on multiplayermtvblog.com or multiplayerblog.mtv.com. They got it there. It's all over YouTube. And the trailer is very, very good. It shows some pretty big battles. It's pretty much all gameplay. It's not like that, like big flashes of like little things here and there like we saw in the other ones, like the teasers. It's pretty much all gameplay. And the thing I like most about this trailer is that it actually shows some of the melee. Because remember we were drooling over the melee that they mentioned, like you'd be able to punch with either hand and throw your enemies, and we were like, Battlefield 3. We put it up on the pedestal. We started singing praises to it, and we had to check ourselves and like, hey, we can't do that because it's just a game. Bring it down. Battlefield 3. Bring it in Battlefield, because that just sounds so cool to actually be able to throw an enemy, to punch with either hand, and do a bunch of other things like that. So I was happy to see some of the footage, and there was a scene in this trailer where the guy had to defuse a bomb, and he started doing it, and the guy came up behind him, and there was like this little melee fighting sequence, which seemed almost movie-like. And I was wondering, I was like, is the player actually doing this, or is this a cutscene sequence? Or it just looked like a legitimate fight. He was like ducking, dodging, getting hit, grabbing the guy, kneeing him in the face. It was pretty substantial. And then they go into some gameplay segments. You can see a helicopter thumbnail here. You see some a little bit of helicopter footage and some gunfights, and with an LMG gun, and it looks like typical Battlefield gameplay, but with all the things we're gonna love about it, all the things we've been hearing about it, on top of all that stuff. So check it out, guys. This is over on multiplayerblog.mtv.com, or you can just go to YouTube or somewhere, search for Battlefield 3 gameplay trailer, and you'll see it. It's actually very, very good. Well done gameplay trailer by these guys, so check it out.
Game Chat with Bwana is recorded live before a worldwide audience every Monday night. You can participate by suggesting news stories. Just register an account in our forums at bwana.tv/forums.
So, we're going to move on to the next story, which if I wouldn't have posted, I think you guys would have threw virtual daggers through the monitors. And you probably would have, did some evil things at your screen if I didn't talk about this story. So, Minecraft Beta 1.4 went live on March 31st. And it added wolves, it added a new logo, it added cookies, a bunch of bug fixes, a bunch of new bugs, and the like. I still haven't updated my servers. I'm going to be getting to that as soon as I can. Been fairly busy lately. You can see in the new logo the A has a creeper face, pretty cute. And Minecraft looks a little bit, looks a little bit cleaner. I like that logo. I got used to it immediately. It's very, very, very good. But the wolves, we have been talking about the wolves and how it might affect the game, and we were worried that people are going to be running around and just taming 100,000 wolves, and it brings the server down. I gotta say, it's been generally a decent experience so far. It hasn't been terrible. I haven't noticed anything extremely terrible about the wolves. Now the thing that I was kind of impressed is that they actually kind of work. There's little glitches with with their, they make a whimpering noise when they need to be fed, when their health is low. And you can watch their tail. If it's down, they're low on health. If it's up, that they got good health. And, that generally works. It has some quirks, like some animations are kind of off sometimes in multiplayer. You right click on the wolf to make them sit after you've tamed them. And those of you who don't know, the way you tame a wolf, if you don't know, let me tell you, in Minecraft, single player or multiplayer, if you find a wolf just running around doing his thing, don't hit him because he'll get mad and bite you. What you need to do is find yourself a bone. Well, Bwana, how have I found myself a bone? I've been playing Minecraft for 38,000 minutes and I have yet to see a bone. Well, put the game on anything other than peaceful and you should have skeletons. And you don't even have to kill a skeleton to get a bone. Alright? What you need to do is just find some skeletons and hide. Wait till morning and there'll be bones there because the skeletons will have burned. So that's an easy way of getting bones. And make sure you get more than one because you have to go to the wolf. You have to give him a bone. Just right click. Don't left click. Don't hit him with the bone. If you hit a wolf with a bone, it's kind of bad. It's like real life here. We got a little bit of simulation action here. You run out in the wild, you find a wolf, and you clock him in the head with a bone. You might just get bit. So right click on the wolf with the bone in your hand to give him the bone to eat. And sometimes it takes more than one. So make sure you get more than one and you tame the wolf. So I noticed that after you tame the wolf, that, you know, it generally works. And there's just little quirks here and there. The cookies I haven't tried yet. But there's some pretty big bugs out there, namely with beds. Beds were introduced, I think, a few updates ago, and they added a new feature where if you sleep in the bed, that will be your new spawn point. Well, that kind of breaks everything. Yeah, don't use beds in multiplayer. I'm not going to tell you what happens, but it has to do with a black hole. And it has to do with things that require you to possibly restart your server. Yeah, so don't mess with the beds. Anyway, 1.4 is out. Like I said, guys, I've been getting messages on pretty much all my Minecraft videos on YouTube. Bwana, come on, man. When you go update your servers? I've been waiting for a whole day and a half and your servers aren't updated yet. Come on, man, update your servers. I can't live without the madness. I must go blow up mountains and islands and things. This is why I put up a forum post on our forum. You guys need to join our forum because I put stuff up there that's related to our community. Because that's our forum and that's how we do things. I put a post up there that you need to be patient. Alright, we got to give the plugin authors time to update their plugins. We got to give them time to work out the kinks because just because they update them don't mean that they work. And we don't want all of your work that you put in on the servers to suddenly melt, you know, when we apply this new thing. So we want to test it thoroughly. We want to make sure it works and be able to transition pretty smoothly. So that's just the life that we have with our Minecraft servers. Is that you just have to do that. If you must play on our servers, what we do is that we keep our servers at the previous version. So before any Minecraft update, you should back up your Minecraft bin folder, which has your Minecraft jar and all that stuff in there. Back that up. Okay, back that up to some other drive or some other folder. That way you can still play on the servers even after an update. You don't have to update if you have the new Minecraft launcher. Okay? So it doesn't force you to update. It asks you, says, is there an update available? Would you like to update? All you have to do is tell it no. And you can go on our servers, Creeper, Diamond, all of them, Madness, play on the older version. So for future reference, if you play on our servers and you don't want to have to wait, keep a backup of that folder. That way you can switch back to the old version, join our old servers, and get back to work. Alright guys, Minecraft Beta 1.4 goes live. Adds wolves, cookies, and a new logo. This is on Joystick. Check it out. While we're on the Minecraft news, I want to congratulate, woo! Congratulations, Mojang, woo! Clap, 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 wee! Clap, 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 wee! Clap, wee! Clap, wee! Clap, 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 confetti, confetti, popcorn, cheese, rice, wee! Want to congratulate Mojang for winning the March Mayhem 2011. This is that bracket that we showed you a few, I think it was last year or the show before that. And Mojang was like beating everybody. This is where I think users can vote for a company in each round. They had a big bracket where all these game developers were listed, and Mojang came out of nowhere and won. So they beat everybody, including Zynga, Valve, Cryptic Studios, Nintendo. Mojang just beat everybody. It's kind of surprising that this much community support is behind this company. So, yeah. Very, very cool that Mojang won March Mayhem 2011. I hope they do this every year. This was pretty fun. Pretty fun event that we can take part of. If you guys don't like NCAA basketball, you like people March Madness, and you hear all these people talking about brackets and seeds and their team and who won, who lost, and buzzer beaters. You're like, I don't like basketball. Give me Minecraft. Next year, you can possibly participate in March Mayhem again, and vote your companies up that you want to win. So check it out, guys. Escapist Magazine has a story. Congratulations to Mojang for winning March Mayhem 2011. And while we're talking about Minecraft, you guys may remember last update, Notch gave us the ability to specify the random seed when we generate a new world. And like everybody's like, what's a seed? I eat sunflower seeds. I plant a seed and something grows. What does that have to do with a video game? Well, I ain't gonna try to explain it to you. I'm just gonna tell you that you can put things into Minecraft and it will generate things. So, for example, we on our I think on our cactus server, we're using the seed Gargamel. When you generate a world, you just type in Gargamel, and then it generates a world, and that's a pretty epic world. So what people have done is that they are basically collecting these seeds and posting them on websites and giving you videos of the generated worlds. You can experiment with this. Put your name in there. Put numbers. You can put 3, 10, 55, 5 and see what happens. Minecraft seeds for excellent terrain. They got I think there's a Reddit thread that was listed here. MinecraftSeeds.info has information as well. This links to Rock Paper Shotgun, and they got videos of all these different elaborate worlds. And I mean, if you're itching to get like an epic structure, you want an epic world generated. You're like, oh, you guys get these good-looking worlds. My worlds are always all desert, or it's all water. If you get those worlds, you can specify the seeds that these sites are providing to get a much better world. So check it out, guys. Rock Paper Shotgun has the details over there as to how you can get these seeds on your Minecraft single player.
Please support Game Chat with Bwana by turning off your ad blocking software.
Okay, so we're going to move on to the next story, which has to do with TF2. Now, a lot of you found me from TF2. A lot of people don't know that. Everybody thinks I'm all about Minecraft. But before Minecraft, there was TF2. And Bwana played a lot of it. Bwana streamed TF2 even when his stream looked like garbage. And I was happy to see this article. TF2, with their insane game hats, I think they were, what, $99? What were these hats selling for? Yeah, they went as high as $99. They were charitable donations. That's what they were. But, in return for the donation, you got a hat, TF2 hat. $7.99, $19.99, and $99. They pulled in over $300K in a week. So I'm very, very, very proud of the guys over at Valve for raising so much money for a very good cause. This was for Japan, the Japan relief. I'm quite sure. I believe that's what. Disaster relief for Japan. You can see with the heavy hat, he has the Japanese flower. I think that's a samurai hat that the soldier has. And you can see these Japan influence hats that they have. Very, very cool. $300K for Quake release. So check it out, guys. This is very, very cool. Very good news. I love to hear these. There's a bunch of other charities popping up left and right of these Japan-related charities. People are using their gaming talents to raise money. This is over on joystick.com. Check it out. They got details over there. Now, if you got a wallet full of money, you might want to close your ears. If you has money, you might want to give it to your spouse, give it to your mom, give it to your sister or brother. Give it to charity. Because this is a tempting deal. Direct to Drive is knocking off 15% off of March bestsellers. They include Dead Space 2, Rift, Shogun 2, Fallout New Vegas, Crysis 2, and Bulletstorm. That's a fairly impressive list of games. Direct to Drive is a PC gaming vendor, so if you're into consoles, don't listen. If you have a console, I got a PC game, or gaming PC, listen. 15% off of March best titles. So that's about $9 on $60 titles and $7.50 on $50 titles. Very, very good discount. And it has, they mentioned Magica. I think Magica is on sale there too. They mentioned it. I don't think they have it on Direct to Drive. I didn't think they had it there. But you enter the code March Mayhem. March Mayhem. I don't know if they have Magica. You guys can go check and see if Direct to Drive has Magica. But if they do, you can get it for $8.50. Enter the code March Mayhem on checkout. Now, this is before you even spend any money, so you can just test to see if the code still works. This was posted on March 31st. Should be still valid. Direct to Drive is usually not very strict with their promo codes. They generally kind of spill over to the days after. So you can check it out, guys. Direct to Drive. These are all good games. Dead Space 2, Rift, Shogun 2. Great ratings with Shogun 2. Fallout New Vegas, Crysis 2, and Bulletstorm for discounted prices. And you can be playing these games tonight if you start to download now. Temptation. Check it out. Joystick.com has the details over there. Okay, moving along. This is something for you guys who play EVE Online. And we kind of saw the birth of this in the early 2000s, late 90s, 2000s, where there was an attempt. I think I first heard about it with Final Fantasy XI. There was an attempt to marry massively multiplayer online role-playing games like MMORPGs, marrying those games with your mobile devices, namely mobile auction houses, so that you can check the auction house, buy and sell, trade goods from your mobile phone into a gaming universe. And I was pretty impressed to see that EVE Online has a mobile version demoed for smartphones and tablets. Now, this is going a little bit beyond what I just described with marrying a mobile device in your MMO. This is a mobile version of EVE Online that was demoed. So I was pretty happy to see that they've demonstrated a simpler version of EVE Online that runs on Tegra 2 powered tablets and smartphones. And you can be used for doing market transactions, like I just said, managing your skill queue, and fitting your spaceship. So it takes it a little bit further than just that auction house. You can do the transactions, but wow, manage your skill queue and to do some stuff with your spaceship. So hopefully this stuff will come to pass. Hopefully it'll come to fruition. This was just a demo, just showing the technology that is possible. But, you know, this could be a glimpse of the future. Maybe more companies can integrate mobile versions into their universe. And you won't be tied to your machine to play these games. Now, that's probably the antagonist of productivity. Your bosses are probably going, well, if I get you playing them MMOs on your cell phone, I'm going to skin your hide, boy. I'm going to fire you so hard you're going to wish you were water in ice in the fridge there. You're going to wish, boy, I'm going to fire you so hard you're going to be fired. You're going to be molten lava, going to be so fired, wishing you were water and ice and freezer. Okay, check it out, guys. Joystick.com has the details about the mobile version of EVE Online demos for smartphones and tablets. And for our final story, I love to hear about these old prototypes. And I like to hear about the origins of video games that we loved. And this is a good story to end on because it talks about how Super Mario Bros. 2 kind of was born. And I was very, very shocked to hear that, well, it was kind of an accident. I was like, what? So basically, the guys over at Nintendo, there was a game called Doki Doki Panic. And they were messing around with the idea of vertical platforming. And you know what I'm talking about, where the screen kind of scrolls north and south. And they say that the idea is that you would have people vertically ascending, and you would have items and blocks that you can pile up to go higher. And you can grab your friend that you were playing with and throw them and try to continue to ascend. Something that we're kind of seeing in games today. I think Little Bit Planet has some levels like that, where you kind of have to ascend and do stuff like that. Super Meat Boy, I think, has some aspects of that as well. Donkey Kong Country Returns, producer of Super Mario Bros. 2, director Kensuke Tanabe, who worked on the prototype, was talking about this. He said that the game was mocked up so that when the person climbs about 2/3 the way up the screen, it will scroll up so that players were pushed further down. So apparently they kind of scrapped the idea of this Doki Doki Panic, and they just basically took that technology, took the ideas, and morphed it into what we know as Super Mario Bros. 2 today. So as you notice in Mario Bros. 2, you do pick up blocks and you can stack them, you can do things. There is some vertical scrolling, a little bit, not a whole lot. But it's very cool to see, hear about the humble beginnings of some of these big games that, are huge today. This is an icon. Super Mario Bros. 2 is like a legendary title today. And, it's kind of cool to see that, it wasn't even meant to start out that way. So very, very cool. Very cool article on joystick.com. They got the details over there. And that concludes our stories. For tonight, and we're going to move on to our next segment where we talk about you guys' findings on our forum.
Tune in to all things Bwana throughout the week on live.bwana.tv and on justin.tv/Bwana.
All right, so we are going to move on to our next stories, which you guys submitted. Like I said, I added a new policy that I might not do all the stories in the interest of time. We're trying to keep it a little bit short tonight. And we're going to start with episode 15 links here on our forum. So the first one that comes to us from Nicholas Fun Stuff about how Minecraft is now being used in classrooms. I had heard about some students saying that they were going to do some homework in Minecraft. I don't know if it was for extra credit or what. But how Minecraft is used in classrooms. Very interesting article. And those of you who play Minecraft and have seen it, the first thing that comes to your mind is it looks like Lego. Looks like Lego blocks. And if you were children, I was a children once, you probably were children too, you would definitely know that Legos generally are very, very cool. You could let your imagination run wild, build whatever you want. You would beg your mom for Lego set 386-484.3, the ones with the little jiggly parts. And, Legos are very, very cool. So Minecraft kind of has that premise where you can use your imagination to grow and build things. So this is a teacher, I think. Let's see, Joel Levin, a computer teacher at Manhattan's Columbia Grammar and Preparatory School. Oh, interesting. He started to use the game to teach an entire unit to his first and second grade students. Reading a little ahead here, he used a variety of tools to make his computer class more enjoyable for the students. Google Earth was used for geography projects. And simple games were used to teach typing. So I'm trying to see where he specifically says. He says, I don't let them just play the game however they want. Good, okay. That's easy to do. Get in Minecraft and go, ooh, a creeper, be able to. They must follow a path I lay out for them, which allows me to carry out lesson plans. Very cool. He's worried about the kids not having a learning curve. This is kind of long. But it's good to see that Minecraft is in the classroom. So, very, very cool. I'll be following that and make sure I can understand everything that he's doing. Educational building blocks, how Minecraft is used in the classroom. Okay. Alright, so Emmerdale has a couple of links. Final Fantasy XIV free to play until plan for improvement is set. You guys may have saw my Final Fantasy XIV review. I believe I gave it like a 6 out of 10. Told you guys to wait for patches. Apparently patches are still forthcoming. Apparently this was posted on April 3rd, 2011. Subscription charges are still out in the open, says the game's new producer. Those of us who bought Final Fantasy XIV, they put 19 here. Kind of a typo there. Final Fantasy 19. Ooh, we're in the future. Landed on PC in September last year with a 30-day free trial in place. And those of you who bought the game may have noticed that that free trial has not ended. The game is still free to play for those of us who bought the game. Except for the turbulent launch, mass criticism from reviews and players alike. And he said, I think I read this. Here it is. No, that's not it. Basically, there was a quote in here where he said that. Oh, here it is. The reason we're doing this is that we're showing the players, yes, it's still costing us a lot of money, and we're not going to get that money back yet. But we're serious about making these changes. This is one of the ways we can show players that we are serious, and we're taking it seriously. Seriously. That's a serious statement. Talking about how serious they are to make it seriously serious, that the players know that they're serious about being serious. Seriously. Expensive though this campaign may be, he insists that Square is on a position to pull it off. Square Enix is funding the project 100%. That's why they can do this. Only Square Enix can do something like this. So apparently they got the money to burn. So I hadn't heard about this game. I had some comments on my YouTube video. People were asking for an update. I really didn't have one. Because, the PS3 version was basically postponed indefinitely. And the PC version is pretty much the PC version is still free to play for these reasons. So check it out, guys. Great link by Emmerdale. Okay, Final Fantasy V gets a PSN release. Let's check that out. Final Fantasy V PSN release. Classic RPG Final Fantasy V is on its way both to the PlayStation 3 and the PSP via the PlayStation Network. So, those of you in the Final Fantasy will be happy to know this. We talked about Final Fantasy 3 last time, coming to the iPhone for $16. I won't have to have a price on this one. Notice it says no release date or pricing has been pinned down. Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9 are currently available on Sony's download service for $7.99 and expected to be in that ballpark. So, okay. So, Final Fantasy V coming to PlayStation 3 and PSP via the PlayStation Network. Like it. Okay. L.A. Noire, first game in history to be featured in the Tribeca Film Festival. Yeah, €7.99. I forgot to mention that. It's about $10. Tribeca Film Festival. Now, L.A. Noire is a game where it's like it kind of reminds me of, remember, like Quake and Doom and even Crysis? They were like these games that were essentially a tech demo of a revolutionary engine. That's the vibe I'm getting from this game. They got some pretty cool, newish types of facial recognition technology where you can really read people's emotions and their facial expressions. So it's being honored at the official selection at the 2011 Tribeca Film Festival. First time ever that a video game has been recognized by the festival. You'd think that Rockstar's later production was a small budget long shot competing for necessary distinction, blah blah blah, but they're getting some pretty high acclaim for this game. So check it out, guys. This is the LA Noir event is scheduled for 5:30 p.m. Monday, April 25th. School of Visual Arts Theaters. Tickets will be $25 per attendee. Blah 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 blah. So video games going to make a public appearance at this film festival. Very cool. Okay. Mojang wins. I talked about that. Creators of Call of Duty creators. I don't even. Accuse Activision of fraud. That statement hurt my brain. Okay. Call of Duty creators accuse Activision of fraud. So we're going back to Vince Zampella and what's his name? West. This is the old story of Activision versus Respawn Entertainment. This is a new cross-complaint filed late last week by Jason West and Vince Zampella. Let's see if I can get a summary of what... Okay, it says Vince Zampella later accused Activision of planning their termination from the company even before Modern Warfare 2 was shipped. During their negotiations, Activision CEO Bobby Kotick is quoted as saying, "Don't worry about it. It's impossible for you guys to get fired." Pfft, yeah, don't ever take that statement from anybody. A trial date is currently being set for May 23rd. West and Zampella are seeking upwards of $36 million. I don't even know if they got paid their royalties yet. Huh. Did they get paid their royalties? I don't even know if Infinity Ward got paid yet for Modern Warfare 2. Oh, and there were a lot of royalties. Ooh. Yes. Lots of royalties. Interesting. That just made me think about that. Anyway, this is not dead yet. Activision versus Blizzard. And got another story here. Battlefield Play for Free is ready to play. I got the email today. It is official. Oh, it's not out yet? It's an open beta. Oh, no. This is going to be one of these Gmail things. It's going to be in beta for 6 years. Free-to-play shooter moves into open beta. Anybody can play. If you want to play before, you can get in. So I guess people can stream it now. Since it's now an open beta instead of closed beta. Anybody can jump in and play. Play for Free has a more familiar, realistic look. If you haven't seen Play for Free, it's a free-to-play Battlefield. Kind of has a very good feel, good-looking feel. And it has combat classes, vehicles, and things, jets and helicopters and all that stuff. So, but it's free-to-play, so it's not going to be up to the bar, up to the caliber of Battlefield 3, but it is worth a shot. So Battlefield Play for Free is now available. Okay. Let me do a quick refresh here. I think that's all links. If it is, we are making great time, and I am happy. No, we got no link. That was by Bestosa. Thanks for those links. DICE competitors are treading water. It says, now is the time to make a proper sequel to the Battlefield 2. Competitors are treading water. This was on the 28th. He says, this is General Manager Carl Magnus Trodson. He says, we now feel like we are ready to make a real sequel to Battlefield 2. With Bad Company 2, we introduced blah, 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 blah. With Battlefield 2, we introduced co-op, we introduced single player. Now's the time, with Bad Company 2. Now's the time to put that all together and make a proper sequel to 2005's. Man, it's been 6 years. 2005 Battlefield 2, the biggest change, Battlefield Bad Company, Battlefield 3 will be the tone of the game, definitely. Let's get to the point. He's calling the competitors, or talking to the competitors. He says, his confidence in the franchise was obvious. The competitors are out there. They're established, and they're very, very big. We believe that they are not innovating, and they are treading water. Them's fighting words. Them's fighting words. Yes. And I kind of had this discussion today, briefly, but shooters are, today, they're not original. And I think that's why I can enjoy them. And I think that's why a lot of you can't. I think a lot of you out there who have given up on shooters, you want something original. And with shooters today, you're not going to get it. Bottom line. You're just not going to get something original. There's going to be something that existed in a previous game. And I think that's what he's speaking to with the term treading water. They're not necessarily swimming forward or backwards or left or right. What they're doing is that they're treading water in the spot, and they're staying in the safe zone. They're not going to go outside of that zone, and we're going to stick with the formula. We're going to stick with the formula of kill streaks. We're going to stick with the formula of the arcadey pop-ups and the loadouts. We're going to stick with the formula of holding shift to run, and right-click to ADS. And we're going to stick with the formula of first person. We're not going to go down that road of third person too much. You guys are SOCOM, you can handle that. You guys are Gears, you can handle that. We're going to stay first person. We're going to have the typical TDM. We're going to have the typical Conquest. We're going to have the typical capture the flag. That's going to be everywhere. There's going to be segments of that stuff that's going to be everywhere. Especially when you talk about military shooters. There's going to be, you're going to get rewarded for kill streaks. You're going to get airstrikes now. Call of Duty made that ingrained in our brain. We can't stop no airstrike. Where's kill streak? I'm not kill streak. Where's kill streak? The game sucks. I don't have a kill streak. So that's where we are. They're not going to go anywhere anytime soon. And that's why Battlefield 3, while keeping the Battlefield formula, I don't think it's going to differ from that. I like DICE and everything, but I think the things you're saying applies to them as well. I don't think they're going to leave that comfort zone as well. Much as I hate to say it, Battlefield is going to have the same things, the same elements that Battlefield 2 had. A lot of those things. They're going to innovate now. They're going to add things. They're going to be things that weren't there before. Now, don't get me wrong. Just because they're not, just because they're adding new things doesn't mean they're not innovating. That's what I'm trying to say. There are going to be new things. There are going to be little steps of innovation. But how far are they going to swim? How far are they going to go outside of that comfort zone? And there's sharks over there. I ain't going over there. Are they going to tread water in the Battlefield zone? Is it going to be like Medal of Honor mixed with Bad Company 2? That's what a lot of people are saying. A lot of people are saying that Battlefield 3 is just going to be a merge of Bad Company 2 and Medal of Honor. So I really don't think I don't think they're going to be exempt to his own statement. What he says is true though. There is a lack of innovation. These companies, they're not taking big steps. And when a company does take a big step outside of the norm, they generally don't sell a lot. It's a sad truth. And I think a good example, at least for me, for that, was Killzone 2. Killzone 2 did things so different from other shooters, it was crazy. Even to this day, I think Killzone 3 is still on that line, but they kind of married a little bit with that Call of Duty. But Killzone 2 did things so differently that the people didn't want to adjust to it. They didn't want to commit to it. They didn't want to, the control scheme's too slow. Why do I have to shoot from the hip so much? Why is this? What's this class mean? Where are the kill streaks? So, and it sold, but it wasn't like, Call of Duty sells. So, what can you do? What can you do? As video games progress, as video games progress, I think the chat room's saying this, and I agree to a certain degree, there's only so much innovation one can do. But I think we, as a gaming audience, should reset our expectations. This is why I can enjoy shooters. This is why I can play Homefront and have fun. Because I know that, there's going to have A, B, C, D, E, F, G elements that were probably present in COD 4 and Modern Warfare 2 and even Battlefield. Those are going to be there. What I try to do is I try to focus on what differentiates the game from the others and if I'm going to actually like it. And it turns out I actually did in Homefront's case. I like the way they did battle points instead of the, earned for streaks. You get earned for everything you do. You get battle points earned for everything you do. I like the drones. There was a heavy amount of drones in this game, and it's great. I love it. So, I don't know. Maybe it's us. Maybe we need to look in the mirror as a gamer and say, hey, is it me? This is why I can't enjoy a shooters because I'm expecting too much of it. Hey. And the same is true for MMOs. A lot of people see an MMO UI and they immediately think World of Warcraft. They see elements A, B, C, D, and F. Oh, it's a WoW clone. Just like the people see A, B, C, D, E, and F in a shooter. Oh, it's a Modern Warfare 2 clone. It's a COD clone. But it's called a genre for a reason, guys. They call it gaming genres because the games follow a specific pattern. They follow a specific blueprint. That's what makes them what they are. Now, we can't have new genres pop out of nowhere like we did in the 90s, where we had genres like a real-time strategy game just pop out of nowhere, and everybody was like, oh my gosh! This is new! This is actually new! No one has ever done a game like Dune 2. Look at this Command & Conquer! Who would think of something like this? Is awesome! We haven't had that in a long time. We haven't. We had games like Flower. We had games like Heavy Rain. Who were trying to redefine a new genre, which they're kind of making headway. LA Noire is, kind of treading down that line. And then the QuickTime event came back. It's really popular. Now Uncharted 2 took the QuickTime event and they put it in a blender, added some bananas and strawberries and sugar, blended it up, put some lime in there, and gave us some crushed ice, which was sitting overnight in powdered sugar. And we tasted it. We were like, oh, I've never had a smoothie like this before. Somebody comes and says, well, it's just a smoothie, but it doesn't taste like this. This is awesome. So, I mean, guys, we got to check ourselves. That's the point. That's why I have fun. People are like, Bwana, how can you play that game? How can you play a game like Medal of Honor? I put my expectations down a little bit. So this is a good article. I think DICE has some self-checking to do themselves. Because while I do see some innovations in terms of melee combat, and they're probably going to do some different things with storyline. Oh yeah, that article I talked about before, I didn't mention it, with Battlefield 3. They're going to have like a 12-hour campaign. I think it said 12-hour campaign. So that's going to be cool as well. So check it out. Okay, guys, with that, we are done with the stories from you guys. And it is time for title time! Get your titles out. This is the time where you guys give me titles for the show. Go back and look at the story, see what you actually saw, think about what you actually heard, and come up with a witty title. Break them out, guys. We need titles. We clap rice, cheese, and seeds with jiggly things. Wow, that's kind of long. Mojang's Mojo wins March Mayhem. That's a lot of M's. Raise your hats. Mojang wins. This episode is all about hackers. Microsoft plants the seed to children's futures. Innovate, replicate, and update. All your Xbox Live account are belong to us. The gaming world has turned into an all-out war. Sony and Microsoft present Microsoft March of the Hackers. Reddit has had it with multiple accounts. That's good. Hackers found BF3 gameplay in Microsoft. The 15. Oh boy, big scroll there. Let me scroll up a little bit. 15% off could create a bullet storm of sales. Hey, that's cool. Original Super Mario 2. Okie dokie dokie. Ooh. Microsoft Sony Battlefield Smoothie. Microsoft Dances with Wolves in 1.4 beta. I'm sorry, Minecraft Dances with Wolves in 1.4 beta. Oh man, if Fish Twit, guys, if you're gonna fight Fish Twit, you gotta bring like an LMG or something, because he's got a tank. He's got a tank coming with these titles. You guys are like, some of you got ACRs, some of you got assault rifles, some of you have rocket launchers, but Fish Twit's bringing the tanks. Come on, guys, you gotta keep up. Where I leave off? Here we go. Battlefield still hype. Hacker still hype. Hacker still hack. Mojang gives cookies for the love. EVE Online plants a seed. Mobile MMO gaming. TF2 tips his hat for Quake relief. Nice. Wolves now go play Minecraft. Wolves now go play Minecraft. Open season for account hacking, endangered innovation, and plausible funding. You know what? That's a good title, but I think a lot of my readers wouldn't even understand it. That's actually a good title. Xbox versus Predator. Ooh, I get it. It's like Alien versus Predator, but you put Xbox there. I see what you did there. Mojang stabs Biowar in the face with a diamond pickaxe. That's kind of harsh. Mojang is the champion again. Bwana has misfit from Business Wars. Don't get it. Minecraft now with seeds. Hat Fortress equals charitable. Caught Reddit handed. Ooh, oh man, that's good. Mojang triumphant. Creepers spread their seeds. Come on, man. That's kind of nasty. Let's see. PlayStation and hackers duke it out. Fish Twit is hacking. I agree. Mojang small seeds grow into a big tree of victory. Out with the innovators. This is a lot of titles, guys. This is a lot of titles. Who let the wolves out? Okay, it's time for Bwana to pick some ones for to put up a poll. Let's get the top here. I scrolled up too high. Let's pick some good ones here. First one is going to be, what is one about Minecraft? Yeah, Minecraft Dances with Wolves in 1.4 beta. Let me break out Notepad here. Minecraft Dances with Wolves in 1.4 beta. Caught Reddit handed. I like that. And that's by Not the Will. And one more. Actually, I need two more. You guys are making it hard. There's too many good ones. I need two more. Title episode 15. Yeah, I like Luxifers. 15% off could create a bullet storm of sales. And the final one is going to be... Oh man, it's hard. I can't decide. Okay, let's just pick one that I like. That's what I've been trying to do. Okay, we're gonna go with this one here, which is one that I'm picking right now, which is going to be, it's going to be picking the fourth one, and I'm looking at my IRC trying to decide and hurriedly trying to do it before I run out of breath and keep talking about things that I don't know what to say as I read about what you guys are talking about. Here we go. No. I ain't going. This is hard. Hat Fortress equals charitable. How about that? Hat Fortress equals charitable. Hat Fortress equals charitable. Man, you guys made it hard. All right, we're gonna put those in the poll. Let me put them up on the chat here so you guys can see them. And one of the mods is gonna post a poll link in a bit. Hopefully, one of the mods is doing this. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to do it. Here's the titles we have. We got Microsoft Dances with Wolves in 1.4 beta. Caught red-handed. 15% off could create a bullet storm of sales. And Hat Fortress equals charitable. So we're going to put up a poll link. You guys can vote for that. Give you like a couple minutes to vote, and then we're going to go with the winner. All right. So we're going to give the mods time to create that poll. While I get another song queued up, so you guys don't hear my voice the whole time. And here we go. And B. George has posted the poll. Go ahead and vote. Fail copy and paste, huh? Microsoft Dances with Wolves in 1.4 beta. Caught red-handed. 15% off could create a bullet storm of sales. And Hat Fortress equals charity. All. Give you guys a couple minutes. Song makes me think about numbers. I don't know why. 3, 10, 55, 5, 3, 10, 55, 5. All right, like a minute. Go guys, go vote if you haven't already. and 5. Yes. Alright, let's get the results. What are the results, B. George? Let's get the results. Let's see what the results are on these particular songs and see what the winner is. And if we have a tie, I might have to decide between the two. What is it? As I wait for the results of the poll. And there's a slight delay between the stream and me, so I gotta wait a little bit. And the winner is going to be... I can't bring it up on this stream. I'm not in chat. The winner is... Oh, my stream is muted. Yeah. The winner is Caught Red-Handed, taking a whopping 42% of the votes. Congratulations. Whose title was that? Was that Not the Wheels? Was that Not the Wheels? Congrats to Not the Wheel Bands for winning this week's title. The week's title is called Caught Red Handed. All right, guys. I want to thank everybody for coming pie, apple pie, cherry pie. Hey, rhubarb pie. Let's all have pie. I want to thank everybody for coming by the Game Chat with Bwana. Episode 15. We do these every Monday night. We're going to try to do them. My schedule might fluctuate, so stay tuned. I get a little busy sometimes, so my schedule might fluctuate. But if you're subscribed on the forums, you probably, or if you're signed up for the forums, you'll definitely know what's going on. You can sign up at bwana.tv/forum. You can follow me on twitter.com/Bwana or twitter.com/Bwana Live. That particular Twitter account will tell you exactly when I go live and what I'm doing. So if you just want to be notified on Twitter what I do on the live stream, you can do that as well. So I want to thank everybody for coming by the stream. This is Game Chat 1, episode 15, and that is a wrap. I will see you all next week. Bye-bye.